How can we balance a handstand every time we try? This is what we'll be seeing throughout this video with the best exercises we can do. Let's find it out. Hello guys, and welcome to this live workshop where we'll be talking about how to consistently get into a handstand. So how to nail every time you want to kick up, how to hold that balance, which is perhaps one of the most complicated things to do when it comes to handstands. Okay, so we're gonna see the basic exercises that can help us achieve that consistency, because when we're talking about handstands, we're not just talking about holding one handstand. Okay, we want to do it consistently. That means that every time we kick up, every time we try to hold that handstand, like, okay, just hold the handstand, okay? We don't want to fail. We want to do it. We want to be able to, okay, every time we want to be able to get into that freestanding handstand. That's a dream, right? That's a purpose. So in this video, we're gonna be talking about this and how to achieve this kind of consistency with the right exercises. Is that right? With that said, let's talk about handstand kick-up. What is a handstand kick-up and why is it so important to understand how to do it if we want to nail, if we want to balance a handstand every time we try? Now, a kick-up is the motion we use to get into a handstand, because the difficult thing to do when it comes to handstands is not just holding the straight position, it's getting into that position that is complicated. It's not just like if I took you, okay, and I put you in the middle of the room and slowly I left your legs, you would hold it more easily than if I asked you to do it in the middle of the room, kicking up into it, moving from a standing position into a handstand. That's a complicated part, and that's where most people fail because they don't know how to practice it. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the mentality and the principles we want to follow to better balance our handstands every time we try. This is consistency, okay? How to consistently balance our handstand. Now, let's start from mistake number one people make when they try to hold a handstand. And that mistake is they try to close their legs too fast. So when it comes to handstands, like what comes to our minds immediately is, okay, I want to balance this position where my legs are closed, right? So what I want to do instinctively, I want to close my legs as soon as possible. Is that right? Well, this is quite complicated initially. Of course, the better you get, the easier it gets. But initially, this is quite complicated. Let me show you why. Now, there are two things you gotta control when you get into a handstand. Balance. Of course, you want to be balanced, but also momentum, acceleration. That means that when we try to kick up, we create a force, we create an acceleration, okay? Our body moving up. And at some point, we gotta stop it in order to remain balanced, straight. Is that right? Now, if we create too much of that, then it's gonna be increasingly more complicated to stop it. And if you try to snap your legs, so to bring your legs up in a fraction of a second immediately, that momentum will be really hard to control. So let me show you what I mean. If now I'm gonna try to, from a standing position without having an idea about what to do, I'm gonna try to close my legs immediately, as soon as I possibly can, okay? So what I may end up doing is the following. I may end up holding it, or option number one, from here, I bring my legs up too soon. Hop, I can't hold the balance, and the handstand just pushes me back. Hop, too soon. I can't hold it because I'm closing my legs, but I'm not reaching the point of balance, and the handstand is not quite there yet. I'm anticipating the movement too much. Otherwise, opposite scenario, I kick up too much and my legs drop behind me. So I try to kick. I bring my legs up together, but the momentum is too much. I'm falling behind me. This is because I'm closing my legs not too soon, but too fast. And that momentum there is really complicated to stop. Again, here I go, hop, but the moment I bring my legs together, I can't stop the momentum because I'm closing my legs too fast. These are the two most common mistakes people make when they kick up into handstands. And now, this is complicated because, as I told you, this momentum is really hard to control, especially the first few times we do that. Plus, we gotta get into the balance position, respecting the right technique, which is complicated, right? So, what I suggest is the following. First, we wanna build the basics. So we wanna build the correct body posture we want to use in a handstand. So we must understand that first. Second, we want to make that acceleration as controllable as possible, and thus create a condition for which we can move our body and hold the handstand in a predictable, controllable way. At least as controllable as possible. What's the solution? So rather than just randomly kicking up from here, okay, so just I'm standing up, let's go. Hop, legs together. I can't. Legs together. I don't know where I'm putting my hands, like it's super random, okay? And I may end up like holding the position, falling behind me or in front of me, okay? It's unpredictable because I don't know what to do. So I want to give you some steps. I want to give you some principles. I want to give you some rules to follow in order to make the entire kicking up process predictable, replicable. Okay? This means that, for example, we want to start with our hands on the floor. Not randomly. Okay, just from a standing up position, I just throw my hands down, because that's not predictable. One time they may end up like too far in front of me or too close to my feet, whatever. I want to start with my hands on the floor because that's predictable. I know where I'm putting my hands, right? Approximately shoulders width, fingers pointing forward, weight in the middle of my palms, hands down. There. All right, fantastic. Now, here, one leg is staying in front of my hands. Okay, so I want to create something like a triangular shape. My hands are at the base of the triangle. My foot is on the top of the triangle. Okay, like in between my hands. That's the stance I want to use. From here, I want to press my hips as high as possible. Why? Because that is going to allow me to move the hip on top of my hands, which is where my hips should stay, as soon as possible. Okay? So it's going to be a little movement, very predictable, okay? Very controllable. Lastly, when I got all these in place, I want to create what I call an L shape. So a shape where I have one leg in line with the rest of my body or slightly behind it, and one leg down, forming something like an L shape. Now, depending on how flexible you are, and here flexibility does play a role, that L is gonna be more or less open. Like, this is not the point. What I wanna think about is the following. I wanna have one foot in line with the rest of my body, and it's thanks to my top leg and to my hips that I can get into that straight line, okay? Into that handstand position, handstand balance. Okay, guys? So as soon as I have this setup in place, then I want to kick up, which is again this motion of mounting into a handstand. All right, guys? So hands down, hips on top, press with the bottom leg and swing the other leg up, forming an L position, okay? At first, I want to form that L, get into that L, balance with the top leg, okay? This leg, the top leg, this one. I first want to find the balance there, keep the opposite leg down, like it depends on how flexible I am. And then, as I got the balance, stabilize the top leg and join the legs together, okay? Thanks to the top leg, which was previously on top. Now I got both on top, okay? I can balance the handstand here. Okay, makes sense? So, this is how, can you see, like, it's really predictable, controllable. This is the idea. Rather than, so key message, first, like, it all revolves around this concept. Rather than randomly kicking up, joining your legs too soon or too late, like, don't make it random, okay? Like, I don't know where I'm putting my legs, my hands, I'm closing my legs at random without having like a clear idea of the setup and of the steps I gotta cover. Make it predictable and follow the rules. Hands down, hips up, kick, L, find the balance. Now, I know, it all sounds easy. It all sounds okay, just like, okay, I just gotta go into that L position and hold the balance from there. That's easy. And when you try it, only when you try it, it's not. It's fucking hard, right? I know that. But this is the principle, okay? We wanna take something that was random and we wanna make it predictable, controllable. Understand the difference? Now, once we got the rules laid out, so hands down, create the L, and then join with control, then we want to study the exercises that can bring us there. So now, it's all about creating the right conditions for our body to understand how to balance that L position gradually, because I know that a kick up is not something like tomorrow you can do it easy. No, it's something that you must build. But here's the point: balance is never something we find. Balance is always something we create, and we create it through the right progressions. the right exercises. Is that clear? So far, we have seen the basic principle and we have understood that the L position, so that position that we want to hold initially, is the basic position that we must develop in order to hold our kick up. Okay? The L. One leg in line, one leg stays down. But first, we must understand how to maintain our body straight, because in that position the trunk is straight. And what most people initially miss is that straight body alignment, straight trunk position. So they try to kick into a handstand, and like the problem is that when they get here, they can't lift the body. Just the leg goes, but the body stays behind. Okay? Perhaps they're afraid. Perhaps they don't have the strength. Perhaps they don't have the, what I call, proprioception. So the ability to understand where their body is and how to activate it correctly. So, first exercise we want to do to understand how to nail that L position, to manage that L position correctly, is a chest to the wall handstand, obviously. Okay? Now, this chest to the wall handstand, without I don't want to make it too basic, okay? But I want you to focus on one thing. You want to get into a chest to the wall handstand, but when you get there, then you want to move one leg into the balanced position, into a straight position. So you want to feel that your leg is in line with the rest of your body, your trunk is straight, your back is straight, and your shoulders are well aligned. So basically, think about one line starting from your hands that goes all the way up. And you want to stack everything on top of that line. Okay? So your shoulders, your hips, and the leg you're moving. At first, you want to start really close to the wall. Okay? And all I want you to think about is pressing with your shoulders, maintaining your trunk straight, and getting straight, and on that line, on that straight line with the rest of your body, with just one leg. Maintain the other against the wall. And then you want to shift and do the other side as well. But stay there for 5, 10, 15 seconds per side. Okay? Let me show you what I mean. So, we mount into a chest to the wall handstand. Is that right? Okay, so we mount, climb it up, stop pretty close to the wall. Now, from here, straight line, hop, one leg goes in balance. We stay here, we align the body perfectly above our hands, okay? So we want to create this nice and straight line. Stay here 5 to 10 seconds, and then stop. Come back, other leg. As you can see, I'm creating a very small L position, but that's a start. Now, you don't want to allow your body to collapse here or your leg to go too much. Now, the point is creating this right shape by moving your body first, like it's your trunk. Can you see my trunk is not quite there yet? Like it's collapsing against the wall. I want to make it straight. I want to make it super, super straight on top of my hands. Get on that same line with my top leg and suck my tummy in and flatten my lower back as much as possible. Okay? Aligning that leg with the rest of my body. 10 seconds here. When I come down, cartwheel out. So when you come down, make a cartwheel out, which is gonna help you with that kick-up motion, because in case you miss it, you wanna have like an exit strategy, which is, in this case, rolling to the side, kicking to the side, okay? Twisting to the side. At first, we want to stay really close to the wall because the wall is going to teach us how to be straight. Okay? So, thanks to the wall, it's your thorax first, your trunk, then you get straight with your lower back as well, suck your tummy in and flatten your lower back, and you want to bring your leg, lastly, stay there, just, it's important you build this basic, you build this line first, okay? Don't think about the balance yet, when it's not the time yet. We don't care about it, okay? All we care about is posture, 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 okay? Proper technique. Rest against the wall, no problem. Just find your posture now. Create a straight line. Take a video. Say, am I straight? Am I leaning correctly over my shoulders? Over my hands? Am I creating that straight line? Is everything on top? Right. When you got it, I want you to get progressively farther from the wall. So as you can see, now I'm gonna take one leg of distance, okay? Like this is your goal, one leg of distance. That's where you wanna get. Why? Because you're gonna mimic the same position you're gonna use in a kick-up, in a standard, regular kick-up. Is that right? So what you want to do, hands down, feet against the stall bar, the wall. Now from here, one leg of distance, we do the same, okay? Of course, it's gonna be more challenging because we don't have the same distance between our trunk and the wall, but we gotta think about the same things, okay? Trunk vertical, you wanna find this straight line on top of your hands, on top of your shoulders, on top of your hips. One leg of distance, so approximately, like, check your foot position. You're gonna place your hands there. Now, up. Check this out, guys, huh? One leg goes into balance, okay? Stay against the wall as you need. Now, one leg into balance. Posture. Find that lightness, okay? Lean over your hands, lean over your hands, lean over your hands. Okay, we do the same, but on the other side, okay? So, up, leg in line, posterior pelvic tilt, lean, don't let your trunk move, and find your position. Is that right? Is that understood? Now, check the mistakes. I may stay here, can you see? Or I may do something like this. Can you see what the mistake is? I'm resting against the wall, and I'm not stuck in my trunk. I'm just thinking about my leg. But it's my trunk that first has to go there. It's my trunk. Get there with your trunk. Train your shoulders to stay strong over there. Okay? And why am I telling you this? Like 10 seconds per side and you go down. Why am I telling you this? Because if you don't create this condition with your trunk first, then it's gonna be really tough for you to do the same when you try to get into a freestanding handstand or do the opposite thing. So the wall is not in front of your chest, but it is behind you. Because your trunk is not getting straight. You don't have that understanding. That's what I was talking about, like when I was telling you, you don't have the proprioception, so you don't understand what it means to be straight with your trunk. That's exactly what I was talking about. Because if you're not placing your trunk straight above your hands in this chest to the wall variation, but you lean against the wall too much, so your trunk is kind of diagonal. What happens when you do it without the wall in front of you is this. Since you don't know when you're straight with your body, you're gonna do something like this. Why? Because the body is staying there exactly where you're staying when you are chest to the wall, mistakenly, of course. Is a mistake. So this chest to the wall variation, first really close, then progressively further, is crucial to understand how to align our body perfectly, properly, to get into a kick up, into a freestanding handstand. Make sense? Obviously, now, third progression and last. When we get the hang of it, then we can get into a freestanding handstand. So we start against the wall and we eventually leave it. How does it work in this case? First, we want to find the L. Go, legs in an L, lean, leave the wall, stay there, don't move your legs. It's all in an L now. Little by little, as you get the control of it, then you can try to join your legs. It goes in 2 steps. First you find the L, then you join. Not yesterday and tomorrow, but month number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you find the L. Eventually, like when you got a lot of control, you close. Talking about days, months, weeks, whatever. Like it depends on you. Take things slowly. First comes the L. This is the secret of a consistent kick up. First comes the L. So even when you work against the wall, it works the same. L. Think about the L now. So we get there again. I'm gonna show you both variations. At first, think about the L. So, what I'm talking about. Hands down, we get into, hope that L shape, right? So we get into the L shape, lean over the hands, maintain the shoulders stable, and try to balance from here. Can you see I'm not moving my legs? I'm keeping them in an L, but I'm balancing here, okay? I'm balancing in this L position. Of course, I can do one side. Now, on the other side, check this out. Hop, lean over your hands, create that nice L position, first with your trunk, find the balance with your leg, hop, maintain that L position first, okay? Once you got the balance here, and you got it right, try to join your legs on top of your hands, and that's where you want to finally balance, okay? If you got it though, huh? If you got it. So that means that if you have the L, wait 3-5 seconds and eventually close. Isn't that fantastic? So, L position first, take your time. When you show yourself, not to me, to yourself, that you're consistent. So that means that I can leave the wall, balance that L, 3-5 seconds every time I want, almost. Then I can try to join. Otherwise, don't join. It's not the purpose of the exercise yet. Then as you get better, join. And that's exactly what you want to do when you do it freestanding as well. Okay? Because like at the end of the exercise of this progression, you'll be holding a straight handstand. But there is a part missing here. Why? Because we are starting facing the wall, so we are already in that L position, which is what I like about this progression. Because it allows us to get into the L without the initial part. So it makes it easier, but we still need that part. So we need to develop that kicking up motion into the L. Is that right? That's exactly the point. And that's what we want to focus on with the second progression, which is the back to the wall variation. Now, we want to use a wall behind us for two reasons. First, it allows us to understand the proper technique. Second, it allows us to be consistent. So if we just practiced on the floor, trying and failing, that's why there must be some space for that. But we wouldn't get the feedback and the repetition we need that the wall instead can give us, because if we touch the wall when we do it, so if we try to kick up with nothing behind our back, we may fall. And that may be like, okay, I'm falling, I just gotta retry. But that's tiring, and there is not always a clear feedback. The wall is giving us that feedback. Why? Because it's behind us. Am I kicking up too much? I'm touching it too strongly. Am I kicking up not enough? I'm not reaching it. The wall is telling me what to do. Go more, Elia. Go less. It's telling me what to do, which is precisely why we want to use it. Technique and consistency. Now, should we touch the wall? At first, yes. Try to touch the wall. Try to get into the L position, touching the wall. That's helping you understand how to get there with your body straight. And now we're gonna talk about people who can't kick up into a handstand yet. Now, to all those people, I can say, all right, guys, what you want to do, you want to start with the chest to the wall variation. Build your strength there, because most of the time, the reason why people can't kick up is because they're not strong enough and they don't have the proprioception, so this understanding of the straight body position, which is what you want to do when you get into a handstand. So perhaps you're lacking the shoulder strength to do it, perhaps you're lacking the technique, the basic understanding of what it means to be straight, what it means to be vertical with your body. These are the two things that you may be lacking right now, okay? If you are one of those that kick up but can't reach the wall, okay? That's because you don't have the technique, the balance, not the balance, but the understanding of what to do with your shoulders, with your trunk, which the chest of the wall variation can give you. So at first, make sure at least that you got the nice understanding there, because everything starts there. If that's the case, if you're doing it correctly against the wall, so you got a nice line, all of that, you can start worrying about what's missing with this back to the wall variation, why I can't do it. But most of the time people can do it, because once they have the technique right, chest to the wall, the straight trunk, the correct shoulder strength, then it's way easier to get into this kick up back to the wall variation. Now, talking about this back to the wall variation, what I want you to do is the following. I want to have my back facing the wall as I mount into the handstand and create the L position. So don't join your legs yet and touch the wall initially. The wall is going to give you a clear feedback. Am I touching the wall too strongly? That means that I'm kicking up with too much momentum, too much force. Conversely, am I not touching the wall? That just means one thing. I'm not kicking up enough. I gotta go more. Okay? So don't join your legs. The exercise I want you to practice with at first is the following. Hands down. I use the kick up technique, which I explained to you. So, triangle position, hands down, foot in front of my hands, hips up, as high as possible. Hands down, foot in front. I bend the bottom leg. Bend the bottom leg. I keep the other straight behind me. Now, with the bottom leg, I want to push. With the top leg, I want to swing. As soon as possible, I press with my shoulders and bring my hips up. Bend the bottom and kick with the bottom as I swing with the top. So, hips up, press with the shoulders, swing and push. La. L position now, guys. Try not to close your legs. From this L position, I press with my shoulders, absorb the weight with my hands, press with my fingers, and try to leave the wall with my top foot, maintaining that L position again. Now, again, depending on your flexibility, it may be a little more open or less. But focus on that straight line and on your top leg, not on the leg which is in an L, on your top leg. Come down after 5 to 10 seconds. Try to repeat on the other side. So, hop, down, shoulders in place. I absorb the weight with the middle of my palms. Hop, touch, don't join, chest in, create a straight line, absorb the weight with the middle of my palms, and balance there. Okay? 5 to 10 seconds here again. After that, calm down. Now I know what you may say at this point. One leg is much better than the other. I know. Must be like that. We're not symmetrical beings. One side is better than the other. That's human. But at least try to practice equally on both sides. That's my advice, okay? Otherwise, you'll end up like me. I practiced for 3 years just on one side, and I was able to hold a handstand. But if someone asked me, okay, can you use the other leg? No. It was so not embarrassing to others, for others, but like for me, like I was like, I can do it just with one leg. Like if I ask myself, okay, Elia, do it with the other leg, you can't do it. How ridiculous is that? So I had to learn all over on the other side. If I started like with both sides, to develop both sides, like it would be, I would have achieved that balance between the sides much earlier, okay? But even now, I have a favorite side. I'm good with both, but I have a favorite side. We all have a favorite side. So one leg will always be more stubborn than the other, okay? Will always be different than the other. That's just the way it is. So the wall is there, we're kicking up, and we are trying to leave the wall gently, slowly. This doesn't mean that you have to leave the wall. Again, first comes the posture. Okay? So go, touch the wall, get light against the wall. It's all about how light I can be with my legs against the wall. And then I can eventually leave it. Another important concept here is the tapping. Okay, I can tap against the wall. Just stay light against the wall. Come off, on, repeatedly. Also, that is a progression I can use to get better. Make sense? So it's up, leave back, or leave and hold. But it all stays in how I place my trunk, how I place my body which gotta be vertical as possible, on top of my hands, as soon as possible. Then I can find my line, I can find my balance. Make sense? So up, L, hold it 5, 10, 15 seconds, down, because what we're practicing here is the kick up, change the leg and go up. You wanna practice that motion of going up. That's one of the most important things. As for the chest to the wall variation, once you get better, first technique. Don't even, like if you're starting now, don't even think about leaving the wall. Work on your posture. Stay against the wall with the top leg, with the other in the nail. Just stay there. 5, 10, 15 seconds. Come down, other leg. Don't leave the wall. Build your posture. Then you leave second progression. On and off, or leave and stay. When you can demonstrate yourself that you can balance that L position for at least 3 to 5 seconds, you can try to join. It all stays the same, but we try to get on top, touch the wall eventually, freestanding, balance, and close. So, much like the same, okay? So, here, swing, body as vertical as possible, as soon as possible, touch, L, balance, slowly. As I got it, after 2 to 3 seconds, I gotta be sure I got it, I close. 5 seconds, opening an L, come back slowly. And now, other side. So, balance as vertical as possible at first, build your posture, build your understanding here, balance, when you got it, close. Is that right? Is that understood? Okay? Beautiful. Now, there is one thing which is really important here, which is the following.